My boss, the one who had made my life a living hell, asked me to be her bridesmaid, her voice dripping with honeyed sweetness. When I found out who the groom was, I eagerly accepted. I never imagined she would then accuse me of being a common lover to several of the company's senior executives, even inciting our colleagues to physically assault me. But when the groom rushed in and finally saw who I was, he fell to his knees, his face pale with terror. "Auntie Lily," he stammered, bowing his head. "I'm so sorry." She had no idea who she was dealing with. I stared down at him, my voice like ice. "Is this the wonderful wife you've chosen for yourself? What goes around, comes around. Watch as I dismantle the venomous, two-faced woman who tried to destroy me. Lily, you're finally here." The voice was syrupy and sweet. It belonged to my boss, Vanessa. I forced a tight smile and handed her the wedding gift. She immediately took my arm, parading me around to greet the other colleagues, introducing me as her dearest friend. Suddenly, one of the colleagues chimed in, her voice loud and performative. "Vanessa, you are so incredibly magnanimous. I'm truly in awe of you." Another quickly agreed. "It's true. To be framed like that and still treat the person as a friend, not many people could do that." Vanessa laughed it off. "Oh, that was so long ago. I haven't given it a second thought. Please, let's not bring it up again." The implication was clear, a thinly veiled confirmation of my supposed guilt. The knowing looks on my colleagues' faces, the smirks that said "we all know what you did," were more than I could bear. I pulled my arm away from Vanessa's grasp. "What are you talking about? Say what you mean, clearly." The first colleague who had spoken sneered at me. "Playing dumb, are we? Why do you think Vanessa's promotion was blocked? It was because you went over her head to spread lies." Someone else was about to speak, but Vanessa silenced them with a wave of her hand. "That's enough. This is my wedding day. Let's all just be happy." Her supporters immediately praised her for her grace, showering her with another round of flattery. I decided it must be a misunderstanding. Not wanting to ruin the wedding, I let it go and followed Vanessa to change into my bridesmaid dress, waiting quietly for the ceremony to begin. But my colleagues weren't finished with me. They huddled together, their whispers and pointed stares following me across the room. If I were Lily, I'd be too ashamed to even show my face here. She acts so innocent, but she's a manipulative witch. I heard she's involved with several of the executives. You really can't judge a book by its cover. Everything she's wearing was probably bought for her by one of her sugar daddies. Imagine how filthy she must be after sleeping with so many men. It's disgusting just looking at her. Their comments grew bolder, their eyes filled with contempt. I had been away on a business trip for a month. To come back to this, to find myself drowning in a sea of baseless rumors, was baffling. What on earth had happened? I was completely lost. It was true that Vanessa had been up for a promotion. The executives had scheduled a competitive presentation. When Vanessa took the stage, she was pale and sickly, stammering through her speech. Naturally, she failed. She had taken her anger out on me, criticizing the proposal I had written for her, forcing me to pull several all-nighters, only to declare in the end that the first draft had been the best one after all. My deskmate, Sarah, had tried to comfort me. She explained that Vanessa had just had an abortion and wasn't physically or mentally well, advising me to let it slide. I was shocked, as far as I knew, Vanessa didn't even have a boyfriend. Sarah then whispered to me that she had seen Vanessa's presentation notes, just 2 hastily scribbled lines. She hadn't prepared at all. Facing the cold shoulders of my colleagues, my enthusiasm for the wedding evaporated. I just wanted to get through the ceremony and leave. The waiting was tedious, so I found a quiet corner in the dressing room and scrolled through my phone, not realizing that, one by one, everyone else had left. When Vanessa entered, her face was a mask of fury. She stormed over and slapped me hard across the face. "Lily, wasn't it enough to ruin my career? Did you have to humiliate me at my own wedding too? How can you be so shameless?" My head snapped to the side, my cheek burning. "What did I do to you? Why did you hit me? I step out for a minute, and you destroy my tiara." It's a vintage royal heirloom, worth over $1 million. You were the only one in here. Who else could it have been? She threw a twisted, mangled tiara at me. The commotion quickly drew a crowd, including the colleagues who had been gossiping about me. First, she sabotaged Vanessa out of professional jealousy, and now she's wrecking the wedding because she's jealous she married a rich man. A leopard really can't change its spots. And to think, Vanessa was just telling us to look after you at the reception. She treats you so well, and this is how you repay her? Someone needs to teach her a lesson. For Vanessa's sake. A group of them rolled up their sleeves and lunged at me, pinning me down with a flurry of fists and feet. Their faces were twisted with rage. Their mouths spewing curses. I was completely overpowered, my dress tearing as they kicked and clawed at me, leaving bruises blooming on my skin. Vanessa stood over me, hands on her hips, her laughter sharp and triumphant. Today, I finally get my revenge. In that instant, my mind cleared. This was all her plan from the beginning. Begging me to be her bridesmaid, the broken tiara, it was all a setup to have her cronies beat me. They toyed with me like a pack of hyenas. When I almost broke free, they dragged me back. In the chaos, a man's hands took the opportunity to grope me. My voice was gone. Lost in a silent scream of outrage as I fought to keep my torn dress from exposing me completely. They were like rabid dogs, spitting on me, laughing, their blows relentless. Never in my life had I been bullied so viciously. I didn't break the tiara. I roared, my voice raw with desperation. Call the police. Check the security cameras. My outburst stunned them into a momentary pause. I shoved them away and scrambled towards the door, but the crowd of onlookers was a solid wall, 3 people deep. I couldn't get through. Vanessa's voice, cold and sharp, cut through the noise. If you compensate me for my tiara, we can let this go. 5 million. Not a penny less. Frame me, beat me half to death, and then demand money? How could a person be so utterly shameless? The crowd, already convinced of my guilt, closed in, pushing me back to prevent my escape. I lost my footing and fell backward, hitting the floor hard. As I fell, a familiar face flashed in my line of sight. It was Sarah, my deskmate, standing in the crowd. Sarah, please, you have to help me, I begged, grabbing her hand like a final lifeline. Tell them Vanessa's promotion failed because she didn't prepare her speech, it had nothing to do with me. And please, get security, tell them to check the cameras. I need to prove my innocence. Her eyes darted away. What speech, she stammered. I don't know what you're talking about. And you can get the security footage yourself. I can't help you. I stared at her, disbelieving. It was such a small thing, a simple act of telling the truth, and she refused. Vanessa sauntered over, her laugh like shattered glass. She grabbed a handful of my hair and dragged me in front of Sarah. Sarah, aren't you and Lily the best of friends? Did you finally see her for who she really is? Is that why you won't help her? Pain shot through my scalp. I tried to pry her fingers loose, but she only pulled tighter, sending waves of blackness across my vision. Sarah's next words chilled me to the bone. Lily, she's not a good person, she said, her voice barely a whisper. She's always flirting with the executives, she loves to backstab people, and she's incredibly jealous, especially of you, Vanessa. To save her own skin, she spat out a stream of lies. Her words were a death sentence. Even the onlookers began to curse me. How fragile human nature is, I thought with bitter clarity. Sarah and the others probably didn't truly believe I was a bad person. But when Vanessa, their superior, signaled her displeasure with me, they chose her side without hesitation. They were all afraid of Vanessa's notoriously vindictive nature. What they didn't know was that they had made a fatal mistake. They would soon learn that they had bullied the one person they should have never touched. Vanessa, the reason you didn't get that promotion, I gasped, is because you had a neighbor. Before I could finish, she kicked me sharply in the back of my knee. I crumpled in agony, the rest of the words dying in my throat. You have the nerve to throw mud at me after what you've done? You haven't been beaten enough. She began kicking me furiously, the sharp points of her high heels digging into my body. Every bone ached. I lay on the cold floor, exhausted and limp, blood trickling from the corner of my mouth. Vanessa then picked up the elegant gift bag I had given her and smashed it over my head. Did you really come here to be my bridesmaid and wish me well? You came to ruin everything. My perfect wedding is ruined because of you. Are you happy now? A box slid out of the bag, the lid popping open to reveal a pair of exquisite white jade bracelets. A murmur went through the crowd. Wow, look at the packaging and the quality, those are custom made from Jade Pavilion. The cheapest pair costs a fortune. How can Lily afford something like that? Where else? Her sugar daddies, of course. But still, to give such an expensive gift, maybe she really did see Vanessa as a friend. Maybe it's all a misunderstanding. She doesn't look like a bad person. Seeing the tide of opinion beginning to turn, Vanessa panicked. What do you know? These are obviously fakes. Anyone who wants them can have them. She hurled the bracelets to the ground. They shattered, sending sharp fragments flying, cutting my cheek and leg. Then, like a madwoman, she tore at my necklace and earrings. Stop pretending to be so classy. They're all fake. All of it. My neck and earlobes were torn and bleeding, the pain sharp and piercing. Oh my God. We have proof. Lily is seducing the executives, one of the colleagues shouted excitedly. I turned my head. They were rummaging through my purse. My phone was in their hands, the screen lit up. It showed a picture of me with several of our senior executives. I was in the center, smiling brightly, surrounded by my cousins. Shameless. We could title this picture, The Sugar Daddies and Their Shared Mistress. Look how close they are, arms around each other. Not even a ghost would believe they're just friends. One girl with all of them? Wow, she's got some kinky tastes. Their laughter was lewd and mocking. Then, someone pulled a small, delicate jade pendant from an inner pocket of my bag. A cold dread washed over me. I scrambled to my feet, stumbling towards them. No. I screamed. It was a gift from my grandmother. I had always treasured it, keeping it with me for good luck. Vanessa snatched it, her lip curling in disgust. What is this piece of junk? So cheap. Just as my fingers were about to touch the pendant's silk cord, Vanessa's face split into a cruel grin. She smashed it on the floor. Ah! A scream tore from my throat. My legs gave out, and I collapsed, my knees landing directly on the sharp fragments of my grandmother's pendant. The pain was nothing compared to the agony in my heart. Grandma, I'm so sorry. The only thing you left me. I couldn't protect it. Tears streamed down my face, blurring my vision. I knelt on the floor, uselessly trying to gather the pieces, my fingertips slick with blood. Vanessa loomed over me. Stop playing the victim. No one feels sorry for a slut like you. You broke my tiara, now pay up. Rage surged through me. I tried to slap her, but she caught my wrist, her grip like iron. I won't confess to something I didn't do. And I won't give you a single cent. Vanessa's eyes narrowed. Won't you? Let's see how tough you are. She produced an IOU. It stated that Lily Yi owed Vanessa Dai 5 million, to be paid within 7 days. Even a fool could see this was premeditated. But no one in the crowd would speak for me. Vanessa bent down, a wicked smile on her face. She grabbed my left hand and began to bend my fingers back. The pain was excruciating. My teeth ground together, but I refused to make a sound. The wedding is about to start, Lily. You're holding everyone up. Be smart and sign it, she cooed, her voice a venomous whisper. Her cronies jeered. Their distorted faces swam before my eyes like demons from hell. Vanessa leaned in close. I spat in her face. You're asking for it, Vanessa. You will regret this. She shrieked with laughter. Threatening me? You still dare to threaten me? You're a tough one. Her grip tightened. I could feel the joints in my fingers beginning to separate. I'm leaving you your right hand, Lily. It won't affect your daily life. See? Aren't I considerate? But my patience is running out. If you keep this up, I'll have to break your legs. I was on the verge of passing out, but no matter how hard she tried to force the pen into my hand, I refused to yield. One of her colleagues whispered in her ear, "Lily's handwriting is very neat and easy to forge. Just sign it for her and force her fingerprint onto it." Vanessa's eyes lit up. Shielding the IOU from the crowd's view, she scrawled my name. Just as she grabbed my finger to press it onto the ink pad, a familiar voice cut through the chaos. "Nessa, what are you still doing in here? Is your dress ready?" The change in Vanessa was instantaneous. She switched to her damsel in distress persona, her eyes welling with tears. "Darling, a horrible woman broke my tiara. Can you believe the bad luck?" The groom, Alex, pushed through the crowd. "Who did it?" he demanded, his voice filled with anger. "Do they have a death wish?" He rushed to Vanessa's side. "Don't worry, darling. I'm here for you. Let me see who had the nerve to ruin our big day." Vanessa collapsed into his arms, sobbing. "Honey, I wasn't going to make a big deal out of it. I just taught her a little lesson and asked her to pay for the damage, but she denies everything." Alex stroked her hair, his face grim. "Tell me who it is. I'll make sure she never sees the light of day again." The entire room held its breath as he strode towards me. I straightened my blood-stained hair, wiped the blood and tears from my face, and looked at him, my gaze cold and steady. Alex froze. The color drained from his face. After a long, silent moment, he finally stammered, Auntie Lily? Who did this to you?" The room fell into a stunned silence. It was as if someone had hit the pause button on the entire world. A colleague standing next to Vanessa was the first to speak. "Vanessa, is your husband okay? He's so much older than Lily, why is he calling her auntie?" Vanessa shot her a venomous glare. "Are you okay? Maybe Lily just looks like his aunt. He's probably just confused." Her explanation seemed to satisfy the crowd, and a collective sigh of relief went through the room. Their attention shifted back to Alex. "Wow, our Vanessa has great taste. Her husband is a manager at the Phoenix Corporation, handsome, and treats her so well. I'm so jealous. Phoenix Corporation is the biggest company in the city. PhDs would kill for a job there. With this connection, our department's performance will skyrocket." Vanessa said he's about to be transferred to the headquarters. "His future is limitless. Why can't I find a man like that?" They chattered excitedly, begging Vanessa to tell them her love story with Alex. Some of the single women even asked if she could introduce them to his friends. Vanessa, basking in the attention, failed to notice the growing terror on Alex's face. "Honey, you've mistaken her for someone else. She's not your aunt, just a junior employee who works for me. What are you waiting for? Help me teach this bitch a lesson." Alex wiped a bead of sweat from his forehead and glared at Vanessa. "You did this? You did this to my aunt?" His face was cold, his eyes blazing with a fury that silenced the room. Vanessa panicked but tried to maintain her composure. "She can't be your aunt, don't try to scare me. She's just a jealous, manipulative witch who deserved what she got." Before she could finish, Alex lunged forward and grabbed her by the throat. "How could I be mistaken? She is my aunt," he snarled, his voice low and dangerous. "You idiot, I told you about her. You dare to touch her? You're asking to die." Vanessa's face turned a deep red as she struggled for air. The chattering colleagues fell silent, their faces frozen in shock. Alex released her, and she crumpled to the floor, gasping for breath. I looked at him, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "So this is her, Alex? The woman you described as being graceful, a master in the kitchen, and so compassionate she wouldn't even harm an ant?" Alex fell to his knees in front of me. He grabbed Vanessa and forced her head to the ground. The dull thud of her forehead hitting the floor was sickening. Vanessa, regaining some strength, shoved him away. "You told me your aunt was overseas. You showed me a picture of her, and it wasn't this woman. Why are you lying? Are you having an affair with her? Is this all an act to fool me?" Her bizarre logic seemed to snap something in Alex. He slapped her hard, twice. Are you insane? What nonsense are you spouting? The only photo he had ever shown her was one we had taken for fun, using an aging filter. She must have assumed I was an old woman. Her own mistake, no one else's. You hit me? Vanessa wailed, clutching her face. You hit me for this bitch? Just then, my phone rang. It was my mother. Alex's eyes widened in terror. He snatched the phone and answered it, switching to video. My mother's kind, familiar face appeared on the screen. Grandma, what can I do for you? Alex asked, his voice trembling. Alex? Why do you have Lily's phone? And why do you look so pale? Are you feeling all right? He wasn't feeling all right. He was terrified. Someone peeked over his shoulder at the screen. Oh my God, it's really her. Catherine Gu, the CEO of Phoenix Corporation. I've only ever seen her in business magazines. At the mention of the name, Vanessa's wails grew louder. She scrambled over to Alex's side. Grandma, she cried pitifully, I'm Alex's bride, Vanessa. We spoke on video once, do you remember? Alex hit me for a horrible woman who ruined our wedding. That boy has some nerve, my mother's voice boomed from the phone. I'm almost at the hotel. Stop crying, Grandma will back you up. The wedding planner came to rush them, but one icy glare from Alex sent him scurrying away. Alex continued to try and force Vanessa to apologize, but she stubbornly refused. He gave up and started dialing for an ambulance, apologizing profusely to me. But before the ambulance could arrive, my mother appeared, flanked by my older sister, Grace. Seeing me covered in blood, my clothes in tatters, with only a large men's jacket for cover, my mother's eyes filled with tears. She had me late in life and had raised me like a precious jewel. She never dreamed she would see me in such a state. She strode towards me, her voice a blade of ice. Who did this? Vanessa, completely oblivious, saw my mother as her savior. Grandma, this bitch. She was cut off as my sister, Grace, delivered 2 vicious slaps, one from each side. Vanessa's already swollen face instantly resembled a pig's head. Mom, why did you hit me? Vanessa cried, confused. Don't call me Mom. Grace snapped, her face livid. I'm not your mother. You have some nerve laying a hand on my little sister. A slap is getting off easy. My mother knelt beside me, her hands trembling as she looked me over, her face a storm of heartbreak and rage. My precious girl, who did this to you? I will personally send them to hell. Her voice was quiet but carried an undeniable authority that silenced the entire room. Only then did Vanessa realize the magnitude of her mistake. She had never imagined that I was not only Alex's aunt but also the daughter of the CEO of Phoenix Corporation. She crawled to my mother's feet, babbling incoherently. Grandma. I was wrong, it was just a misunderstanding, Auntie Lily. My mother, enraged, kicked her squarely in the chest. My mother has practiced martial arts for years, she is surprisingly strong. The kick sent Vanessa flying backward, slamming into a wall before crumpling to the floor. The crowd gasped in shock. The colleagues who had attacked me were as white as sheets, wringing their hands in terror. The vicious bullies from moments ago were now trembling like leaves. They had messed with the wrong family. They would regret this for the rest of their lives. Alex opened his mouth, as if to plead for Vanessa, but a sharp look from my sister made him hang his head in shame. I explained everything to my mother. She uttered a single, cold word. Investigate. Her assistant immediately took the hotel manager to retrieve the security footage. When the video played for everyone to see, Vanessa's defiance crumbled. The footage clearly showed her breaking the tiara herself. She collapsed. On the floor, sobbing, still trying to defend herself. Ms. Gu, Lily was doing a poor job at the company, she made me angry, that's why I did it. Before I could respond, Sarah pushed through the crowd. You're lying, she shouted, her voice filled with righteous indignation. You were jealous of Lily because she's young, beautiful, and talented. You made her life miserable. When you were up for the director position, you were too busy fooling around with the vice president to write your own speech, so you were going to make Lily do it for you. But before you could, the vice president's wife found out and beat you so badly you had a miscarriage. The presentation was moved up, and you had to go on stage unprepared. Then you blamed Lily for your failure. You can't lie your way out of this, Sarah declared. Vanessa had no reply. My mother's face was even colder than before. Anyone who laid a hand on my daughter, I, Catherine Gu, will not let a single one of them go. The colleagues fell to their knees, begging for mercy. It was all Vanessa's fault. She instigated everything. We were deceived. My mother slammed her hand on a table, silencing them. Even if you were instigated, you are still accomplices. Your guilt is not for you to decide. As she spoke, my sister dialed the police. When the paramedics arrived, Sarah came to help me, but I shoved her away. From now on, we are not friends. She froze, her eyes red with unshed tears. When I needed her most, she had turned her back on me. No amount of righteous bravery now could change that. Vanessa watched as Alex helped me onto a stretcher, preparing to accompany me to the hospital. She grabbed his arm, crying, "Alex, we haven't finished our wedding." He sneered. "A vicious monster like you still wants to marry me? In your dreams. Get the hell away from me." He kicked her away when she wouldn't let go. I had just arrived at the hospital when Vanessa and the colleagues showed up. She was a mess, her hair disheveled, her face bruised and swollen. It was clear her former cronies had turned on her. Now that they knew who I was, Vanessa's power was gone. Beating her was both an outlet for their own fear and a pathetic attempt to get back in my good graces. The noise outside my room was infuriating. I gave a nod to my bodyguards, and they promptly cleared the hallway. The group refused to leave, gathering on the lawn below my window, holding up a banner with a handwritten apology. Vanessa stood in the middle, a bald patch on her head where her hair had been torn out, her clothes in tatters. She looked like a beggar. I sent a message to them through a bodyguard. "I will never forgive you. Prepare to receive everything you gave me, returned 100 times over." Their wails of despair attracted a crowd of onlookers. When Alex left the hospital on an errand, Vanessa's eyes lit up. She stumbled towards him, tripping and falling flat on her face. Seeing that he wouldn't even look at her, she scrambled to her feet and clung to his leg. "Alex, you promised to marry me. You can't abandon me. Why would I marry a piece of trash like you? A woman who sleeps around, who has destroyed countless families and had countless abortions." He tried to walk away, but she wouldn't let go, dragging herself along the ground, crying and begging for another chance. "It's not true, Alex. You know how hard it is for a woman to get ahead in the corporate world." I had no choice. But Alex was long past disgusted. His bodyguards pried her off him and dragged her away. After Sarah had revealed the truth about the miscarriage, Alex had done his own investigation into Vanessa's past. The things he discovered made him want to kill her. Her hysterical cries earned her a few pitying glances from strangers, but anyone who knew the story just watched in cold silence. I thought she would finally give up. But that night, she disguised herself as a doctor and snuck into my room. She knelt by my bed, banging her head on the floor, her voice hoarse from crying. "Lily, I'm so sorry. I was blind. Please, forgive me. Please, talk to Alex for me. I love him, I want to marry him." "Then go beg him," I said coldly. "Why are you here? He won't see me. His bodyguards beat me every time I try. They're going to kill me. And what does your death have to do with me?" Seeing my indifference, her demeanor changed. She pulled a dagger from her pocket and pressed it to my throat. "I've been fired. Your mother has blacklisted me from every company in the city. You've pushed me to the edge. Alex is all I have left." Her eyes were bloodshot, her face a mask of demonic rage. "Don't do anything rash," I said, my voice trembling convincingly. "I'll call him, okay? I'll get him to come here and sign an agreement to marry you." Vanessa grunted, slightly loosening her grip on the dagger. "That's more like it." I immediately dialed Alex's number. "Get over here right now," I said calmly. "It's an emergency." And then I coughed, twice. "Okay," he said. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. Vanessa sneered. So he really listens to his little auntie. Doesn't even ask what the emergency is. Suddenly, there was a crash. The window shattered, and a figure flew into the room. Before Vanessa could react, the dagger was kicked from her hand. The locked door burst open, and Alex stormed in with several police officers. It was only when the cold metal of the handcuffs snapped around her wrists that she understood. "What's happening?" she shrieked, struggling wildly. "Alex, why are you doing this to me? I haven't committed a crime." "You wanted to speed up your trip to prison," Alex said coldly. "So I'm granting your wish. Save your breath for your confession at the station." Her eyes, full of venom, darted between us. "When did you call the police?" She wanted to know, so I told her. "Alex and I have a code. If I'm ever in danger, I cough twice when I call him. He knew you were threatening me." She thrashed against her restraints, but it was useless. She was dragged away. The police officer who had come through the window had a few minor cuts, and I sent him with Alex to get patched up. Once my official injury report was filed, I sued every colleague who had participated in the assault. On the day of the trial, I saw Vanessa in the defendant's box. I had hired the best lawyer in the country. It didn't take long for Vanessa and her former cronies to break down in tears. But it was too late for tears. Vanessa was sentenced to 3 years for assault with intent to cause grievous bodily harm. The others received sentences ranging from a year in prison to probation. As she was being led out of the courtroom, she saw me talking to Alex. With a final burst of strength, she broke free from the bailiffs and charged at me. Alex moved in a flash, pushing me behind him. She kicked him hard in the stomach, and he doubled over, his face white with pain. The bailiffs tackled her, pinning her twisted face to the ground. She let out a wild, crazed laugh. "You've ruined my life, Lily Yee. I'll never let you go. I'll be back for you." I smiled. "Good. I'll be waiting." A year later, Alex told me that Vanessa was dead. She had tried to bully other inmates and they had turned on her. She fell into a deep depression and one night, her heart simply stopped. The wicked will always be punished. Not long after, my mother officially retired, passing the title of CEO of Phoenix Corporation to me. As the youngest CEO in my family's history, I was confident in my ability to lead and to face whatever the future held. May I always be kind, but forever have a spine.